So I wanted to record this video here, and I wanted to say that Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection was amazing and awesome. That's why I wanted to come here today and say to my recorder, this game, it was supposed to be released and it was supposed to electrify the classic MK community. It was supposed to bring it to life. It was supposed to show the people who love the NRS games and they're not so familiar with the older games. They were supposed to see this and get a little bit involved with it, dabble their feet in it, and it would have been fun for everyone. It would have been a bridge for the NRS community and the classic community to come together. Unfortunately, this is not that video. Unfortunately, this is gonna be a bit of a miserable video. I'll try to keep it positive, but I have to say what I have to say about it. And I have today Yagami with me here today, who's joining me on this conversation because he's here to keep me sane and he's here to keep me in line in case I go out of hand.
I'll rein in any death threats. I have a censor button where we can silence Napper. He's entrusted it to me if he gets out of control. But I am also, man, I wish I could say I'm really upset about this, but like I've reached the point, I think, of apathy with the stuff that happens with Mortal Kombat now, where I don't even get angry. I almost expected this.
That's very sad, that is, because I was really expecting this to be something that brings the whole community to life. Everyone's gonna be playing in a tournament of the old games and it's gonna be so much fun. I was imagining myself contacting different YouTubers, people like just off the top of my head, Fate, Mark Hollow, who else? Darrow Sung, Total MK, and you get all
maybe
these
Headlocked.
Headlocked. Get these guys together in a tournament and just have a YouTuber tournament. Wouldn't that be fun?
I mean, that sounds like it would be amazing. How are you going to invite them to a game in Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection? Oh, right. You can't do that.
Yeah. I can't do that because apparently in a game released in 2025, where it has a fantastic, beautiful menu, which I have to give them credit for that. I was really happy to see the menu, and I was really happy to hear the remix of the Mortal Kombat 1, the original Mortal Kombat 1 character select screen music. That was awesome. But this game, released in 2025, doesn't even have a lobby where you can organize a match with your friend, let alone people online. You can't even organize a match with your friend who's sitting next to you.
It's actually insane to think we are in the year of our Lord, 2025, and the concept of playing the game with the person you choose is apparently foreign to the entire brand of Mortal Kombat now. It's you press a button and it quick matches you with someone entirely random.
And this is just scratching the surface of the problems. There's so many problems. It's unbelievable that it feels like a prank. The way they released this game, it feels like a prank. I remember I made a video before where I was recommending people that, hey, look, we need to send Ed Boon a message. We need to buy this game twice. I was telling people to buy this game twice. And today, I haven't even bought it once myself.
I'll remind people listening to this, because I know we've talked about it on here before. We talked about a plan I'd outlined for how to get Mortal Kombat back on the right track with its fans. And one of the very first things I mentioned in it was releasing a classic game collection that would be playable on modern systems and on PC with online, that would let people play together and enjoy the older games with a collection of art and all of that stuff. And when I said that, apparently I was holding a monkey's paw and one of the fingers curled, and it manifested this complete cash grab pile of slop that we have now for Legacy Collection. Actually, I wanted to. You said a nice thing. Maybe we're gonna reverse here. I'll be the bad guy here because you like the menu, right?
Yeah, I do like the menu. Yeah.
Do you know who made that?
Who?
Oh, no one. That menu, the menu stuff that you see in the menu was made by AI. They didn't even actually make anything.
Seriously?
Yeah, the where it scrolls through the stages. Yeah, someone didn't 3D render those stages. It's AI generated.
Oh my god, I did not even know that. Wow.
Yep.
I'm flabbergasted. I'm shocked. Fucking
It
hell,
is.
man.
It's actually crazy.
I was trying to give him credit for something. Now I'm fucking mad.
I knew this was going to be fuel on the fire, but I had to tell you.
I was trying to not swear today, man. Shit.
It's crazy, though. Like, I get it. You know, these collections are usually made on a budget, which we all understand, but as you've already said, it's 2025, and we have too much to compare to. We have several Capcom collections out by now. You know, they have the Marvel collection and the 2 arcade fighting collections that have come out. I own all of them. They're fantastic. They were fantastic from day one. We didn't have to wait for a million patches. We didn't have to wait for a promise of, oh, this feature is coming later to make it actually a usable product. No, none of that, and they were cheaper. But somehow...
was that made by Digital Eclipse as well?
No, the arcade collections are not made by Digital Eclipse, though they did make one of the previous Street Fighter collections that's not part of the new series of collections. And it had a bunch of classic Street Fighter games, and it had problems too. Though it had invite in it, so you could invite to game. So you could at least do that, and that was in 2017. So we're now nearly a decade later, also from Digital Eclipse, and it's missing this feature, which I'm going to assume it's not Digital Eclipse. I'm going to assume it's the time frame that Warner Brothers gave them, because that's the only thing that makes sense to me. It would be insane otherwise to just skip that. It doesn't make sense.
I just want to ask a question. In all that time, since the announcement of this whole thing, right? They used AI to make all the extra things. For example, the main menu, right? What the fuck were they doing with the rest of the game? So
we can dig into what's going on with a bunch of the game because for those that don't know, because it is a corner of gaming that not everyone's into, and I don't know how much you're into it. But all of these old games, other than I want to say 4, because it works, but it's not great. Mm-hmm. All of these games are emulated, of course. You know, people have dumped the ROMs for these games and emulated them with software for years now. Whether that be on MAME or other emulators. That's what these are. These are just the ROMs. And that's why we're seeing all this weird stuff, because when you're emulating the hardware, you're just doing your best to literally emulate how the game would run, and you will run into issues. And we can see some of the issues, including some crashes on things like fatalities. These are problems that pop up in the ROMs that we've had for years. So people are looking at this collection, seeing all of these games like, oh my god, we have all these games in this collection. Bro, I could have gone and thrown this together in a weekend, with a select screen like this.
Literally.
All thrown together from just a ROM collection. It would have taken no time at all.
Literally, exactly. And this actually brings another point where I was watching streams yesterday. I was watching different people play the MK Legacy Collection. And one of them, it was Fate. He was playing... Legacy Collection, and it was so laggy, it was totally unplayable, let alone unplayable, it was even unwatchable. I could see people in the chat, they were saying, we can't watch this, it's just crap, it's so laggy, and it's hard to watch, what are we doing here? He had to go and play Fightcade just to keep the audience watching. He changed over to
believe it.
Fightcade.
Yeah, I have a lot of experience with Fightcade. It runs better than this collection.
And that's a fucking disgrace because Fightcade is free, and these guys are charging $50 for this shit.
You know, they might have saved themselves some trouble if they had released this and said that this was like the pre-order period and the true release was when the game also released in physical copy. And they could have, they could have put a banner on this that it was in beta or it was an unfinished product and the rest was
100%.
coming later with other functionality. They could have done that.
100%.
Instead, what they did was, like 10 hours before the game went live, they announced, oh, by the way, you can't invite people to games and there's no rooms. Anyway, guys, we hope you all pre-ordered, blah, blah, blah. It's going to be great. Like, really? You can't tell me that's not on purpose.
What a disgrace, man. And they're charging money for this, full price. They're charging us full price today, but they're like, okay, we'll give you the game in parts. Don't worry about it. It'll come out in parts. How about we give you the money in parts? Does that not sound fair?
I think that's more than fair at this point. I've gone to the further extreme, though. I'm not going to give them money at all. Because, like you said, it's insane for them to release a product in this shape. There is no reasonable consumer on the planet of fighting game media that would take this collection as it launched day one and say this is an acceptable product. So Digital Eclipse and Warner Brothers, who have both been making games for a long time, should have recognized that this was not in an acceptable state at all.
It's really embarrassing because, look, as a classic player, I wanted this to come out and for all the new people, people who are born in the year 2000s, 2010s, I wanted them to see the classic stuff today. With today's electrified environment where everybody would be having fun together, I wanted them to experience this. But these motherfuckers, they fucking released this bullshit, and now the new players are probably looking at it and saying, okay, this is cute, and then just putting it to the side and going back to Mortal Kombat 1.
The thing that drives me really crazy with it is actually it's two things with the experience. Like, you mentioned it being slow. Like, this thing has input delay on the menus. Not even just online, just in the menus there's input delay, which is kind of weird. I don't know how you do that, frankly.
Oh my god. Like, input delay on a paid game versus Fightcade, which is free.
Yeah, and has less input delay. And like you said, with people that are coming into this new, they're either going to play these games and not recognize that there's a problem and just think that they don't play very well, or they're going to come in, recognize there's an actual problem immediately because maybe they have more experience with fighting games but not these classic games, but they'll see that this collection is not working right. Maybe they look it up and they see that there's this input delay that's causing all these issues alongside the other glitches and other quality of life stuff that's not there. They're not coming back, and that's the thing. Like, these companies need to realize this is a very niche product. Like, it's obviously Mortal Kombat that's got big brand name recognition. The brand, I think we can both agree, has been through some rough times recently with MK1, not super popular. But there is not a huge, massive crowd for classic fighting games. You'll get people with nostalgia that are going to pick this up, and you will get fighting game fans that'll pick this up. But your big market of those nostalgia people and people that are just curious that want to come in and try this, they might be put off by the $50 price, but then they see it's like all of these games. All right, maybe that offsets it, and they still buy it. Okay. When they play it and it plays like crap and it has no features and it's not running right, frankly, they're done. They're refunding this, or maybe they can't refund it depending on how they bought it. It's over. They're not coming back to this collection. They're going to move on to whatever the next game is, or they're going to go back to what they were playing before, and it's dead in the water. I've heard people talk about how long do they have to fix this before it's over. And when did the game come out? Negative that many days. It's already over. You do not recover from this. This is not No Man's Sky. You do not come back from this.
Yeah, like, I've never seen a game refunded so much like before this day. Every other day I'm hearing about every day actually I'm hearing someone refunded the game, someone here refunded the game, and if you read the Steam reviews, it's full of, oh, I hate this game, it's shit, you ruined the legacy, I'm refunding this game.
Yeah, and you can't blame any of them. This is again another example of the Mortal Kombat brand shooting itself in the foot when it has the biggest footprint in fighting games. Like we talk about, Street Fighter's obviously the OG, they kicked everything off, but when it comes to raw numbers and what people know and buy, it's been Mortal Kombat forever. And as a primary Street Fighter fan, I can admit that, but they're not treating it like that. They treated these throwback games for Capcom like Power Stone and Star Gladiator, that if you ask 1,000 people if they've ever heard of those games, maybe one will say yes. Those got more respect than these games that defined arcades for a decade.
To me, this arcade classic collection, it was supposed to be a bridge between us classic players and the modern MK community. Oh, I remember now. I feel like, I'm not saying it is, but it feels like it's a conspiracy to keep the original MK down so that, the people who are into NRS stuff, they don't get into the classics, and then they might like the classics and say, you know what, we want this to come out today, we want Mortal Kombat to look like this. It almost feels like a conspiracy like that. I'm not saying it is, but how can...
I can understand the feeling, and I'm going to go down the conspiracy rabbit hole with you, because I agree that it's a conspiracy. I just think that the conspiracy is different.
Okay.
So, as we all know, Warner Brothers is up for sale right now, including their video game division, including the Mortal Kombat license. So we all know that in the public, that means Warner Brothers knew it a while ago. Probably a year ago they knew this was coming, if not longer. Just the right amount of time you'd have to go and say, hey, we've got these games that we still have the rights to, throw together a collection, you have X amount of months to do it, and here's the drop dead date. No, we don't care what condition it's in when it's shipped. We're going to hype it up. We're going to say it's this great thing. Throw 1 billion games in it. Who cares? That's what we'll market it on. We're going to get the money and run, because who cares? We're shutting the doors anyways.
Wow, that actually sounds plausible. Fucking hell, man. The pain.
That's my conspiracy theory, because we've seen it before. It's a fire sale. Everything must go. And they went, you know what? Let's sucker these Mortal Kombat fans one more time.
Warner Brothers, if you want money, at least release a serviceable product. At least make sure it works. Fucking hell. If it works, I'll give you money. And you can go and be happy, and I can go and be happy. But what am I supposed to do? I'm reading these Steam reviews every day and looking at people being upset. And it's pushing me away from buying the thing. I want to buy a collection. I want to give you money. I want to. Take my money. Take it.
I got everyone listening. We might need a wellness check on Napper. The rage. He's gonna go Super Saiyan. He's been training. We've seen it. If you're in his Discord, by the way, join the Discord. We've seen it. Napper's been training. He's going to go Super Saiyan at some point with this anger.
Warner Brothers, I'll make you pay for this.
Just things are floating in Napper's house right now as his aura builds.
Oh man, this is so dumb. It was such an easy money grab. All you had to do was do the proper job. You could sell classic Mortal Kombat to us over and over. We are suckers. We will throw money at you. We will buy it. You can repackage MK Trilogy 100 times. We'll buy it 100 times. But we're not gonna buy this shit.
If you want to know, you mentioned Steam, so I looked something up for us. Do you want to know how over it is? This is how over it is.
Negative versus positive.
Oh no, worse than that. All-time peak for Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection on Steam numbers, 1,012 players is the all-time peak from 5 days ago from release. Currently, it's 110 people. It's over.
God
it's
damn.
Totally over.
Well done. Well done, Warner Brothers. Well done.
And I'm going to point something out, and I've talked here before that my background's in video games, at least for schooling and some of my work stuff. And I want to point out to some people a mistake here. They're not realizing where it seems good, but it's not good with this Legacy Collection. And it's a issue that Capcom's dealt with correctly in previous releases, and it's online options for their games. There is 20 something games in this collection. All of them are online, and some of these games are one single game with a zillion different editions of the game in it on different consoles and on different releases. All of these are online. So when you go into one and you try to get a match with someone, you need to hope they're playing Mortal Kombat 3 for the Sega Genesis Columbus Edition, released only in Paraguay during a solar eclipse. And if there's no one else playing that edition of the game at the time, you're going to wait forever. And Capcom dealt with this in other versions of releases like this, where they would pick one or two of the editions of the game that are highly recognized in the tournament scene, or highly requested for playability with other people, games that haven't had previous online capability. They made those versions online. You could still do the other games in the collection, but not all of them had the online compatibility. And I know everyone's knee-jerk reaction goes, oh, but more is better. More is not always better. This divides your player base, and it's going to make it harder for people to find games. Because let's face it, if you can choose the arcade version of MK2, why the hell are you fighting someone in the Genesis version of MK2? It looks worse, it runs worse, it sounds worse.
Yeah, you're right.
Do you know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I've seen that other shitty version as well. They put some really weird versions of Mortal Kombat in there. It's like you'd only open that version just to see how it looks. And then once you're satisfied with how it looks, you'll never go back to it ever again. I don't know.
Yeah, you play the Game Boy.
That's it.
You play the Game Boy version for one round and see how awful it is. And go, oh wow, that was really bad. I'm glad I never paid for that back in the day. And then you go back to playing a real game.
Yeah, exactly. You just go in there just to check it out. Maybe the most you could do with it is, oh, I make a live stream. I challenge myself to play this Game Boy edition for 10 hours straight.
It's masochism. The only reason someone will play through is, like you said, for views of watch me do this to myself.
Yeah, there's literally no point putting these games in there. And they missed out Mortal Kombat Gold. They put Mortal Kombat 4 in there, but they can't get Mortal Kombat Gold in there. What is the excuse for not getting Mortal Kombat Gold? Do you know?
Vague licensing difficulties is the only thing I've heard or seen, which I don't know if I believe it. Maybe it has to do with it's hard to emulate. I don't know. That could be it. Maybe they couldn't get it running even remotely acceptably. Again, we're doing a little bit of a conspiracy theory. I'm not going to say for sure. I'm just saying I have my suspicions. And at this point, I think it's right to have some suspicions about stuff like that.
Well, you know what? We haven't even started talking about the actual problems in the games. And
True.
I just want to bring this up, that if we have the Legacy Collection in this condition, right, how are we supposed to hope for a 3D collection one day? How are we supposed to look forward to a 3D collection when we know we get this kind of service? This is how Mortal Kombat players are respected. They don't even give a shit how we feel. They just want our money.
It does really feel like we're being a little milked with this collection release. And, you were talking about problems. And I do wonder, having talked about that emulation stuff, like, this was probably the easiest thing to throw together, because obviously there's a big difference between emulating 3D hardware and only primarily 2D hardware. Also, those games didn't have arcade releases, so emulating arcade hardware is probably easier for them as well to put that all together. So I don't know. Did we get all of these different versions of the games because they didn't have the means to quickly release the 3D games? I don't know. But I wouldn't hold my breath for a 3D release. And here's the thing that sucks. This is selling probably not well. It's getting a bunch of bad press. It's getting a bunch of cancellations. And now that, because this has a stink on it, hurts our ability for them to release something later on. As if it's like, well, they didn't like this one. It's not that we didn't like it. You gave us a plate of dog crap. Like, we might like a steak if you give us a steak, but you didn't give us a steak. You gave us dog crap. You need to do better.
It doesn't matter if you give us a silver plate with golden knives and forks. We can't eat dog crap. For God's sake, man.
It's so painful.
I want to talk about some of the problems I've noticed and maybe some of the problems you've noticed too. So, one of the things I've seen on a stream is where people are playing, I think it was MK3, one of the MK3 versions, and it sounds like, as the time progresses, it sounds like the sounds of the audio, it sounds like you're playing underwater. Have you heard that?
Yes, it seems to affect some versions of Mortal Kombat more than others, but ironically, it seems to impact the versions people want to play most, like UMK3 and Trilogy, and I'm not sure what it is. It's not people's connections. It seems to be something going on either with the netcode, but even that would be weird because it would have to be screwing up the netcode to you as you're playing it, because it's on your side, obviously, because you can hear it.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's that. I don't know if it's just some weird interaction between syncing with the gameplay and the audio, because it doesn't even match what's going on screen. Like, I could understand if you saw it stutter on screen and it stuttered the music and the sound effects, but it doesn't. They just become completely desynced, and the music and sounds become very jagged, and it seems like it's leaking audio memory or something. It's super weird.
Yeah, it literally sounds like you've taken your console underwater and you're trying to hold your breath and play the game.
I've seen people, I swear to God, I've seen people unironically say this. They said, it's fine, just turn your volume on your TV off.
Is that a fucking joke?
That is the level of cope we're at for some of these people trying to glaze or trying to glaze over the issues with this release as being not that bad. My man, if we're at the point of turn off the audio on your TV to enjoy this game, you have lost the plot. You need to step back from commenting on anything and get some help. That is like crazy to say.
Pay $50 to play the game, but just turn your audio off. You can still play, just turn the audio off. Seriously. You know, there's a lot of YouTubers which are talking good about the game. Now, I don't want to diss any of them because I like some of them. And so they're just trying to be positive. They're trying to be they're trying to see the cup half full and that kind of thing. But I don't know how you can just sit there and praise this bullshit. Like, I have Midway Arcade Treasures, I can just go and play that. I have all of the Mortal Kombat games. I want to buy them again in the Legacy Collection. Like, I'm the idiot, I'm the sucker. My money, like, I clearly don't know what to do with it, and you can take it from me. But you dickheads failed to take my money from me.
It's crazy when we reach the point where they can't convince us to give away money we want to give away. I have the disposable income for this. It's something I directly said Mortal Kombat needed, that I wanted them to do, and I wanted to buy. I was ready to get this day one and begin playing it. I talked to my wife the day before this dropped and was talking about, oh, hey, I'm going to be able to show you a bunch of Mortal Kombat tomorrow. Yeah. Because she hasn't seen a bunch of the classic games and wants to.
Well, look at that. And they failed you as well. You was going to show somebody who's never seen the classic stuff. You was going to show them, look what we were into. But they failed you now.
Totally dropped the ball on something that should be so easy. And I know you mentioned, we've mentioned there's no lobbies. You can't invite people. They said there's a patch coming for that. And again, I don't care. If that's not in your game day one, I do not care what your excuse is. That's beyond ridiculous.
What is the point now when you had 1,000 players the day one, and then now it's 100 players, maybe 900 of them refunded the game? What's the point now?
Yeah, it's too late. It's way too late.
I wanted to
buy
the collection.
I see this stuff. Yep, go ahead.
I wanted to buy the collection, okay, I was thinking, I'll let them complete the game first and then buy the collection. But I don't know if I should because they haven't respected me as a fan. They haven't respected...
Yeah, I think that's valid.
They haven't respected me. They just released this bullshit, embarrassed me in front of the whole world. I told people to buy this twice. I was gonna buy it twice. I was gonna buy one copy for the PC so I can play upstairs in my room when I wanna play by myself or play with friends. And I was gonna buy one copy for the Nintendo Switch so I could show my kids, hey look, this is what we used to play when we were kids. I wanted to buy it twice, man. Flip it out. Oh.
They were given an open soccer field with no goalie, given the ball, and everyone sat back and said, dribble it as far as you want and kick it in. And they somehow managed to get to half field, crap their pants, fall on their face, and deflate the ball. I don't know how this is possible.
Oh my god. Oh my gosh. I feel like I'm living in a simulation, man. I feel like I'm living in a petri dish and there's people outside experimenting on us, like, let's see how far we can push these people.
It feels like a prank, right?
Exactly, it feels like a prank. How hard is it to get proper copies of Mortal Kombat all together, working in order? Look, it's been done on Fightcade. How many times do I have to say it? If Fightcade could do it, why can't you, an official company releasing official products, licensed products, with the Mortal Kombat name on there? You're charging money for this shit, and you can't even get it right.
And they're charging more money than their competitors for their stuff. And I know people are going to say, well, you get more games. And I'm again going to point out, you get a bunch of games that you're never going to want to play.
Fuck. How could they fail so hard? Digital Eclipse, their reputation is stained. WB already had a stained reputation with their bullshit. And now Digital Eclipse is stained as well now. I can't look at Digital Eclipse and say, I trust you to take care of this. I was telling people to buy the game twice, man. How much more could I push Digital Eclipse?
You know, I will, as bad as this release is, I am willing to give the benefit of the doubt to Digital Eclipse only because we've seen previous releases from them that weren't anywhere near this bad, and we know Warner Brothers is Warner Brothers, and I'm willing to give the benefit of the doubt and believe they were probably forced to release this on a certain date, and they had no other option, and it's just not in a good state. And, you know, it sucks for them because, like you said, their reputation, because most people will not give them that excuse, which is valid on their part too. I'm not criticizing people that don't want to give them an out. I'm fine with that. People feel the way they feel when they buy a product and it's garbage. Okay. You guys put your name on it. You agreed to the terms of the contract. You signed the deal with Quan Chi. You should have known it wasn't going to work out great for you. Sorry, it's Warner Brothers. They suck at everything.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
It might not be totally their fault. So ultimately, it's the Mortal Kombat brand. It's Warner Brothers. And I just have to blame, you know, again, it's just them screwing stuff up because ultimately they don't really care about anything with this. This is just a... Man, I wish I could say this is just dollar signs to them, but they can't even get money right from people. Like you said, you told people to buy it twice, and now we're talking about how neither of us have even bought it once.
That's like a 200% loss for them. You know, just from us two.
Yep. It's crazy to think about. And, you know, we talk about issues with it, so we've got all of that. It comes with, they do have a neat little feature, right, with the documentary, and people are like, oh, wow, that's so cool. Like, you can go on YouTube and find this stuff, too. Whatever. It's neat, sure.
Man,
But like,
I love
Yep.
documentary stuff like this. You know, I like to go into Mortal Kombat Deception and just go into the crypto or whatever and watch the documentaries. You know, how the history of Mortal Kombat, how they made MK Deception Conquest and all that stuff. I love watching this stuff, and I half want to buy the collection just to watch the documentary because I love having this stuff. I like watching the history of MK. It's very nostalgic to me. I'm really into nostalgia. But I'm very shocked at how they got Ed Boon, they got John Tobias, they brought these people together and they recorded an interview with them and made a documentary and put it in the game. But they released the game in this condition. Like, this must be embarrassing for Ed Boon as well. It must be embarrassing for John Tobias too.
I imagine it would be on some level. It probably hurts to see because you know they are invested in the community. These are games they directly worked on, and
Yep.
they poured crazy time in this. Because I've seen plenty of the behind the scenes stuff. I've read plenty of interviews from both of the guys and Forden as well. You know, basically the whole core team is basically like 4 or 5 core guys, and when you listen to them, you know, these guys were doing like 16, 18-hour days, you know, going home, sleeping in the office, and then getting up and doing it all again for the love of the game. They were doing it because they really believed in what they were doing and were really enjoying it and just working themselves to the bone. So I imagine to see a re-release like this and see people so upset with it, man, that's probably going to really suck for them.
Yeah, it sucks for us, it sucks for them, and I want to lower the Wing of Mercy to Digital Eclipse. Like, I want to, you know what you said, where it's probably not their fault and they probably feel bad too because of Warner Brothers. And I can see signs of this, like they're trying to reply to people on Twitter. I've heard that lots of people have had replies from Digital Eclipse, and you even had Sonia Kerry Hoskins. She sent out a tweet saying, just be patient. And
She's great.
Yeah, really great. So I can be patient. I can wait and wait for them to complete the game. I want the Legacy Collection, but I don't want to give Warner Brothers any money. Fuck them.
Agreed.
So I'm stuck now. I'm on the fence here. I don't know which side to fall on. Sorry.
I mean, I can play all these games. Here's the thing, and I'm going to point out a big difference here that I've kind of been sitting on with this conversation. You know, as I said, I have all the Capcom collections. I've played every game in every one of those collections, and I played most of them back in the day. As far as Mortal Kombat goes, growing up, I bought a Saturn when I was little. I traded in a bunch of games. I worked all summer. I saved up my money and I bought a Saturn for one reason, because I had read in a magazine that the Saturn did 2D games better than the PlayStation. And I wanted Street Fighter Alpha and I wanted Ultimate Mortal Kombat.
Gosh.
And I bought them. I got Street Fighter Alpha 2, Street Fighter Alpha 3, Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3, and Mortal Kombat Trilogy. And they were the games growing up that I played the absolute most for fighting games. I easily have hundreds of hours in all 4 of them. I would play them all the time. So I really wanted this collection to be able to go back and enjoy those games, because I think they're still great games as far as the Mortal Kombat games. Obviously, I can go play the Capcom games because they're in the collection.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, look at
So
that.
I was heavily invested.
Exactly. Look at that. There's a fan right here, Yagami, who is this heavily invested. You can literally WB can literally link their bank account to yours and just siphon money from you for Mortal Kombat, and you'd be fine with that. I'd be fine with it too. And like we would pay.
They can have a link to my PayPal. Just send me the product, take the money.
I don't want to give them any stupid ideas, but we would literally pay monthly subscriptions to play Mortal Kombat. Fuck you, NetherRealm WB. We're not gonna do that now.
Yeah, and so The crazy thing becomes, you said you're on the fence whether or not to buy this. Do you know why it's an absolute no buy for me, even if they fix everything that's currently wrong?
Please tell me.
It's a no buy for me for two reasons. One, the shape it released in is unacceptable. I will not give Warner Brothers money for this product at any point. It's unacceptable to me.
Mm-hmm.
I already gave them money for Mortal Kombat 1 and hated that product and did not like what they did with it after the fact. So they had a chance here to earn me back and earn my trust. It's gone. But the second one is because I've played their competitors' products. And I'm just going to talk about something briefly that they did that is such a show of good faith and such a love letter to the community.
Okay.
If I fire up the Marvel collection right now for Capcom, there's going to be a bunch of classic games in there. Some of my favorite games of all time. X-Men, Children of the Atom. One of the single most important arcade games I ever played because I loved X-Men. It got me even more into X-Men, and it got me even more into being at the arcade. The arcade where I went had a giant stand-up TV screen arcade cabinet for X-Men, Children of the Atom. It was taller than I was, the screen, when I was playing on it.
Wow.
Super important game to me. The whole Marvel series is super important to me. They went in on those games when you play the collection. If you play Children of the Atom, you're not just playing an option with the arcade game, of the Japanese version or the American release. You can play as Magneto and you can play as Juggernaut. There's no version of those games previous where those bosses are playable. You can play them in the arcade collection. If I go play Marvel Superheroes, again, another super important game to me. I'm a big video game fan. I'm a big comic book fan. Fighting games are my thing. You mash all that stuff together, you got Reese's Peanut Butter Cups, chocolate and peanut butter. Thank you, give me more. If I go into Marvel Superheroes, I can play as Thanos. I can play as Doctor Doom. If you go and play Marvel vs. Capcom 2, arguably the best fighting game ever made, and I say that as someone that's not even a fan. I am not a big fan of Marvel vs. Capcom 2, but I respect the hell out of it, and its community is awesome. I go into that game, a bunch of stuff that was broken, that made the game worse, and made matchups worse, and didn't work for certain characters that should, left characters vulnerable when they shouldn't have been, bad hitboxes that needed to be fixed. They fixed those things. We not only got the original games, they gave us polished fixes for these games that people have loved and played for decades, where they said, oh man, if only these little couple things were better, this game would be even better. They went and they did it and they sold it and people bought it. And now we have a new improved version of the game that we can play online with our friends. While I look over at Mortal Kombat and they release a collection so screwed up that tournaments that were planned for this last week and this coming weekend, where people were going to go play at, that they had made plans to go play at or to play online and they freed up time to do it, they had to be canceled because the game doesn't support playing online with who you want to play online. Game over, I'm done, you do not have access to my wallet, it's closed.
Listening to all of that, it was so beautiful and at the same time so painful as well. Because exactly how you talked about Marvel and Capcom was it? I wanted to talk like this about Mortal Kombat today. I wanted to make videos praising Mortal Kombat Legacy Kollection. I wanted to say, Digital Eclipse, well done, man. You made my childhood. You made me happy. I'm just gonna be stuck on this all day until the next Mortal Kombat release. But it's really painful to have to say that Mortal Kombat Legacy Kollection has been an embarrassment for us classic players in front of the world. People are looking at this stuff and just saying, this is crap.
They really are, and I don't think, like I said, there's no coming back from this at this point. And worse is, I don't think these classic games have a way back from this, and that's what really, really sucks. Because now people might never give these another chance because you've ruined their experience with these games for maybe an entire generation. We might see something lucky with a release later on. Maybe I'll give them an out for how it could work. And again, this is me putting on my game developer cap and my managerial cap and saying, we messed up, we need to fix this. Like, if they release, whoever buys Warner Brothers or whoever buys Mortal Kombat, God help you at this point if you buy it. But if they released a new game, a new Mortal Kombat, and it looked good and it played good and it reviewed well and people bought it, and as a bonus in the game, they're like, oh, by the way, when you get this, there's a full arcade collection in here of a bunch of classic games that we put on here, and they have the same online capability as this new game we released. That is probably your only option at this point, is to bite the bullet and give it away for free as part of a new game release.
That, 100%. If something like that happened, I would be absolutely open to it. And I like how your self-respect is more important than satisfying your hunger and craving of playing the MK Legacy Collection. Even if they fix it now, you're not gonna buy it, right?
No, absolutely not. I will never own this collection. And before anyone thinks I'm like not a real OG, not a real fan, as you know, Napper, I'm in a new house now. I built a house. I'm in it now. It was this last week I moved in.
Congratulations.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. It's been a process, but it's great now that I'm here. Do you know what the first thing I did when I was in this house, when we didn't even have furniture in it yet, but I had a day off and I had an opportunity because the basement floor was done and there was no work being done in the basement anymore. I went to where I had my stuff stored, which was at my parents' house. Bless them, they've been super helpful during this whole process. And I got my 1-up arcade cabinet of Street Fighter. It's Street Fighter Championship Edition, Super, and Super Turbo. I brought it over here into the basement. I sat in an empty house, no furniture in it, no heat in it yet. The heat wasn't working yet. I unboxed it, I sat on the floor, and I assembled that son of a bitch. And I plugged it in because even though I didn't have heat yet because the gas wasn't on, I had electricity, and I played a round of Street Fighter 2. That's how devoted I am to these old games. And they have so lost me. These were some of the games I played the most growing up. I will not buy this collection. I will fire up Fightcade. I will fire up Mugen. And I will play someone else's love letter to this era of games with crazy new characters that they've edited and put together. Or I'll play Fightcade with the classic games that run on there. You know, I'll play them maybe even single player. I won't even match up with someone. I will play that, and I will not give them a dime for this. It's shameful the way this was released.
100%. And I'm really happy to see your self-respect for yourself. You've inspired me as well, because I was thinking that when they eventually fix the Legacy Collection, when they release it as was intended, then maybe I'll buy it on a sale price. But seeing the way you've conducted your self-respect there, I'm going to act the same as well. I want to have self-respect and not pay for this trash. Like, you should have shown us respect and released it properly so that we could play this and show the world, look, this is what Mortal Kombat is. But we can't even do that now. We have to go to Fightcade just to hold an audience who came here to watch Legacy Collection. God damn, man.
It's funny, man, because I started this, when we were talking, saying, like, I was apathetic and beyond caring. And, like, obviously, like, that's not true. I just got all fired up about it because this is important to me. And, like, I have no shame about that. These were important to us, and they were important to other people.
100%.
And you have kids that you want to share this stuff with, which is really admirable. That's really cool because, what's cooler than showing someone else something that you love and then you see that they love it too? That's a great feeling.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
Even if they fix this, my problem is if they fix it and I buy it after it's fixed, the message I'm sending is you can release something broken and then fix it later and I'll come buy it. Nah, sorry. Just release it not broken. We're done with this game. Not doing it anymore.
That is absolutely right. Like, they released it broken and then they fix it later. Okay, fine. I'll take all of my £10 notes or $10 notes. I'll rip them into pieces so it's broken and send that to you and you can sellotape it back together. How about that? Yeah, exactly. You know what? I'll send you my credit card number scrambled up
later on, 6 months from now, I'll release a patch that unscrambles it for it so you can charge me on it. How's
Exactly.
that sound, Warner Brothers?
That's 100% fair, because that's exactly what they're doing with us, so we should do exactly the same back to them. Gosh, I really wanted my kids to sit with me and check out, Mortal Kombat. I've already shown them Mortal Kombat. They already know all about it. They know all about it from me. Everybody in my family knows I'm a Mortal Kombat freak. Just like how you have stories, I have a story to tell as well. When I was younger, and I had a GameCube when I was 12 years old, and Mortal Kombat Deception was coming out. And when they first announced it, it was only for the PS2 and Xbox. And there was no GameCube announcement. And I was thinking, oh, no way. I have Deadly Alliance on the GameCube. I need Deception. I have to play this game. And you know what I did? It was my GameCube. It was a limited edition Wind Waker. So, Legend of Zelda Wind Waker edition GameCube. I took that GameCube and 12 other games with it, bundled it all together, and I took it to the game shop. And I was just a little kid, and back then they didn't have rules about buying 18 plus games. Like, even kids could go into the shop and buy 18 plus games and it didn't matter. And
that was the silver one, right? The silver GameCube?
Silver GameCube, that's right. And I bundled it all together, and I passed it to the shop owner and said, the game store employee, I said, I want to trade this in, and I want to get a PS2, a pre-owned PS2. I'm giving them my nice brand new GameCube, and I want to get a pre-owned PS2 just so I could play Mortal Kombat Deception. And you know what the funny thing is? It came out on GameCube anyway, 6 months later or something like that. But look, that's how much we love Mortal Kombat. We're like, we'd put our houses on mortgage just to play Mortal Kombat, And
I think that's why, I don't even think that's why. I know that's why this stuff sucks so much, because then you get put in the position. Now we're in the position of, well, we kind of want it because we want access to the games, but we can't keep supporting these bad practices with the game because it's bad. So it's like, it is the worst of both worlds. It's actually worse than not even getting it.
Absolutely.
Like, if they didn't release this, it just wouldn't be released, and we just keep hoping, like, oh, maybe one day they will.
You've set a leading example here, and I'm actually very inspired by it, and I'm going to follow your lead there. I'm not going to buy the Legacy Collection. I have self-respect, and I'm not going to allow this practice to happen in these companies. These companies need to look at us with respect. If they want our money, we work hard all day, we sweat, we cry at work because the boss is shouting at us and keeping us in for overtime, and we work for this money. If you want this money, you have to show respect and serve us properly. Otherwise, fuck off. You can stick this middle finger right up your ass.
I 100% agree. It's there's a YouTuber, Doomcock, and he coined a phrase, without respect, we reject. And you know what? That's where I am with this. Like, the disrespect shown to the Mortal Kombat community after Mortal Kombat 1 and now with this game. And I'd argue even with Mortal Kombat 11, there was a lot of disrespect to the community, and it just got worse with Mortal Kombat 1 and now this release. Like, it's clear they don't respect the community, and they don't respect what they have as a property, and we can feel that at this point. It's clear that this is just a file name in a list of IPs they own and can try to leverage for profit.
Yep.
And that's all they're doing with it. And frankly, in true Warner Brothers fashion, they're not even doing a good job of that.
What a shame. I wish the YouTubers who have bought this game and they're making content about it, and they're trying to calm the population down and say, you know what, it's not that bad. I don't want to diss any of them, because I watch some of them, and I've interacted with some of them. I wish they would have some self-respect and say, no, we don't accept this. We do not accept this in the state that it's in. It's laggy. It doesn't even play right. nobody can watch the gameplay, let alone play the gameplay, and we have to turn to Fightcade, even though we paid this much money to get this game. How can anyone accept this and praise it and say, yeah, this is fine?
And it's funny because streamers are one of the most screwed over group of people with this release.
Yeah.
And most people wouldn't think about that too much because, like, you know, buggy games can be funny to play. You know, a bunch of people played that Gollum game that came out for Lord of the Rings. That game was awful and a buggy mess, but it was funny as hell to watch.
Okay.
But that's not the problem with this release for streamers. The problem with this is, and I think you'll know this. It's a great example of stuff you've done. Mm-hmm. There is a innate enjoyment from watching someone play something that has a challenge to it that ramps up, and seeing them get better and better. Like Mortal Kombat Mythologies, that's a game that is brutally hard. So when you see someone get through it, it's exciting to watch them, you know, stumble their way through it and improve. Yeah. And fighting games have that big time, because if you go in and watch someone play, you know, Tekken or Street Fighter or any other goddamn game that has a functional basic online system, you can see what rank they're at, and you can see their gameplay, and you can see both of those things improve together as they play against increasingly better opponents, because the game is a ranking system that's guiding them through that. That is huge for streaming. That is how you retain an audience. That's how you invest people in what you're doing. It's the Rocky thing. It's Rocky getting stronger and stronger as he trains. It's Goku fighting tougher and tougher opponents through Dragon Ball.
Yeah, exactly.
They can't do that.
These kinds of things, they stay with you as well. Or it's like these things, they have a spirit, and that spirit stays with you. You know, the way that they're created.
Yes.
It's like the creator of these arts, they poured their spirit into it, and you can feel the spirit. Like, if we're watching a game where it's lagging and people are saying, "Ah, shit, man, this is unplayable, we can't watch this." Like, Digital Eclipse has lost their own self-respect there as well. They made a deal with the devil, WB, and they lost.
And the crazy thing is, I've already seen examples of some YouTubers that are new to the game series. Well, I shouldn't say series, new to these specific games. You know, they might be familiar with Mortal Kombat or fighting games in general, but they're new to these actual releases like MK1, MK2, MK3. And I've seen in a couple instances of them trying to play online, and they'll go in and they'll play, you know, they'll hit quick match, and the person they get has probably never really picked up a fighting game before, so they just beat the brakes off them. It's not even a match, you know, it's a person that is struggling to do inputs. Yeah. Then they hit X again on the next match, they wait for a matchup, and they get an OG that's a UMK3 South American, you know, grandmaster that's been playing since 97. He has all the run jab pressure down. He's using human smoke, trapping you in the corner, and it's game over. You don't even get to play. And that's what happens when you have no matchmaking. It's just roll the dice and you get your ass whooped, or maybe you whoop someone's ass, and there's no feeling of continuity or to know how you're even doing, because it's all too random.
Exactly, and it's an extra spit in the face when you have to wait like 15 minutes for the next match. I've heard people on YouTube complaining that I think I heard someone say they had the screen on for like 3 hours or something like that, just waiting for a match to show up.
Oh yeah, I mean, we looked at the Steam numbers. We got 100 people playing, and we have say it's just 20 games. I think it's 22. I might be wrong about that. I haven't verified the number of games in the collection, but it's 20 or 20 something. If there's 100 people playing and there's 20 games, if we divide that evenly, that's what, 5 people per game? Good luck finding a match in any particular game. And yes, I know that's not exact math. Not everyone's playing the Game Boy version of the game. Not everyone's playing Super Nintendo MK2. Like, there's probably no one playing a bunch of these games. But there's still enough where it's broken up, where some people are playing, you know, Trilogy, some people are playing WaveNet, some people are playing UMK3, some people are playing MK2. So that base of 100 players right now, or even 200 players at a high watermark for the day, that is, you're waiting forever potentially. And then, like we said, who knows who you're even fighting when you meet them? They might be a monkey smashing the controller, or they might be Tom Brady who wanted to get a couple licks in the game to fuel some nostalgia, and he just annihilates you. Spoiler: Tom Brady's not playing this game. He didn't buy it, but the point stands.
Yeah, and look, because Fightcade provided us with a thing where we can fight with our friends. We can you set up tournaments on Fightcade?
You can do rooms, so yeah, you can do that.
You can do rooms on Fightcade. A free product, by the way. If I haven't mentioned that already, I'm sure I have. And look, if we're having all of this in Fightcade for free, who's gonna sit and play MK Legacy waiting in that waiting screen? Like, you want to play with your friends, you need to have a lobby, so, like, where's the human interaction, man?
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's the option we have. Like, we had the period we went through, the dark ages of fighting games, which was basically Mortal Kombat, Deception, or actually it's like Deadly Alliance era through Street Fighter 4, we would say, where fighting games were coming out, but arcades weren't around, and internet wasn't where it was going to be for online play, and online infrastructure and sophistication wasn't there. So really, you were playing single player, or you were playing with some buddies if you were lucky. Not all of us had friends that liked fighting games. And now we're in another golden age of community where you can play someone around the world. You could, if you hear about that best South American player I mentioned that is god tier in UMK3, shout out to South America because they're the ones that innovated a bunch of stuff in UMK3. You can today play that person with minimal lag, with a pretty decent connection. Is it arcade perfect? No, but is it way better than it was ever? And it was way cheaper than flying down to, I don't know, Brazil? Yes. We have that capability now, unless you're a Mortal Kombat fan. You can't fire that up on PlayStation and do that right now because this is the release we got, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, yeah. And it's interesting you mentioned that because yesterday when I was watching Fate play on the live stream, so he's all the way in Australia and he was playing with someone in the UK. There was no lag when they were playing with each other. And like, we're on the opposite sides of the world. Australia's on the opposite side of the world. We're over here. That's the furthest you can get. And that the free product played fine, but this bullshit is causing this much problems. I'm on Steam right now and I'm looking at the reviews here. So there's a total of 632 reviews. Guess how many are negative and positive? Guess which one is winning?
It's got to be negative by over 50%. I got to say, right?
100%. Yeah, well, 50%. Yeah, you're right. I just said 100% to agree with you. 50%. Yeah, so they've got 298 positive reviews, and they have 334 negative reviews right now as I'm watching this. And I just want to read a couple of these reviews. So
I was going to ask you to do that because that sounds like fun.
So here's one positive review, just to like mix it up a little bit. I don't want to be like disingenuous and just show all the negative ones. Let's look at the positive ones. The positive one here says, as a casual MK fan, this is a wonderful collection. That's all. And he's had
That's all.
He's had 1.2 hours on the game. Right.
And it's signed David Zaslav, CEO of Warner Brothers.
But this other person, he's had 0.1 hours on the game and he's refunded the product. And this is what he says. I was let down by the input lag. Bought it when it was $45 for the pre-order and should have known better. Maybe later on Steam sale if patched, but it's terrible in its current form. Can probably watch the documentary parts on YouTube in a little while, so it's not even worth it for the fanfare. Look at that, that's a fan. You can tell that's a fan because of how disappointed he is. There's another comment here. It's a bit long, but I'll just summarize it a bit. So he starts off saying, honestly, this collection is a huge disappointment. I mean, if you're someone driven by nostalgia that wants to play some old-ass MK games, maybe you might enjoy it. That's understandable, that is. Because the games are playable despite of the bugs, of course. I didn't find it playable from what I've seen. But if you're a fighting game fan like me, then you know that online mode is the most important aspect. Because playing online kind of reminds me of the glory days of the arcades. Look, that's been fumbled. The glory days of the arcades has been fumbled just because of the online being fumbled. Unfortunately, the online here is atrociously bad. It's bare bones and barely functional. It's actually even worse than in Digital Eclipse's previous collections for Street Fighter and Samurai Showdown. Anyways, for now, I will leave this negative review because of the poor quality of the online experience. We'll wait until the patch with the online lobbies drop, and I might update this review.
That was Ivan Laterrible, clearly a G, because that man speaks to my soul with his words. So shout out to Ivan. Definitely well said. I agree with everything he said.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's a very fair review. Like you said, it's fair to say if you just want to mess around on the old games, yeah, maybe you might enjoy it. But if you care about a fighting game, this ain't it.
Well, look at this one. He's received it for free, and he says, "Was very fortunate to have this collection gifted my way, but in all honesty, I cannot recommend you spend your money on this. Poor online at launch, a laundry list of other technical issues, and not being able to hot plug controllers is absolutely absurd." I don't know about this hot plugging controllers thing. What is that?
I know they had issues with getting controllers like activated in it for like playing multiple people, so that like you could like switch off easily. I think was a problem. But what more proof do you need? My man Siege got this for free, and he's like, "Yeah, I don't recommend it."
Like, he's saving people. He's like standing at the edge of hell and really holding his arms out, trying to stop people from falling in.
This is the dude in the zombie movie holding the doors closed against the horde, and he's telling everyone, "Run! I'm done. I can't move away from this door. They're gonna come through. I'm done. You get out of here." This man's a hero right now. Just saying, run, get away.
100% he's a hero. He's holding the door. That's like him getting the product for free, and he's able to hold it for free. And he's letting everybody save their money by telling them to run. Wow.
And like, I'm gonna, I brought up something here that I thought was interesting that we might like to take a look at. It is the, if we want to read more of these reviews, I think these are great. I think this might give us some perspective on where these people are coming from, because this is the list of update patch notes that was released yesterday. There's a patch that came out. You know, credit to Digital Eclipse, they got a patch out very quickly, but this is going to touch on some of the stuff that is just wasn't in the game at launch.
Okay.
I'll go right down the list. Input latency improvements across all games, PS4, PS5. That's because the PS4 and PS5 had even more input latency than the other systems, which still had latency issues. They still had that delay. Improved audio buffer for online play. We all know that's that terrible audio sound. I've still seen people having audio issues post-patch though.
Okay.
So maybe it's better, but not 100% fixed. I can't speak to that. Fixed connection filter setting not working properly. So filtering out people with bad connections at launch didn't even work.
Okay.
Various fixes to the fatality timer option that was also not working correctly. Some people were putting the timer in and it was not changing it for their time for fatalities. Kind of minor, but whatever. Combos have been added to moves list for relevant titles. We didn't mention this, but I was aware of it because I'd seen it when people were going into it to look at stuff.
Okay.
In games with combos on launch, those combos were not listed in the moves list. The dial of combos. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, and wasn't this like a listed feature? Like, oh, we're gonna have this thing where there's no more secrets. We're gonna show you everything. So that includes combos. You know, they're gonna have the combo list, so you can do that.
Yup. Fix for
hold it back.
Fix for Mortal Kombat 3 Genesis cheat menus not unlocking properly. That's accurate. I know on launch cheats for Genesis weren't working. Restored missing audio in 32X MK2. That was another one people noticed right away. The 32X version of MK2, one of the big draws for it back in the day, was that it had way more sound samples, and they were way better sound samples because the 32X was way stronger than a Genesis. They just weren't in the game at launch. They didn't work.
How ironic that the sound on the better sounding game didn't work.
Now with less sound than ever. It doesn't matter though, Napper. Just turn off all the sound on your TV. Remember,
yeah,
that's how you play it.
Of course, yeah, that's the solution. We'll turn the sound off. Yeah.
Additional improvements to MK4. I don't know what that means. Fixed issue that caused UMK3 to reboot after Scorpion Fatality. Yeah, a bunch of people, if you just used the Scorpion Fatality, it rebooted your entire game. Awesome. General stability improvements for Genesis titles. Okay. Pause button hold time reduced by 50%. You had to hold down the pause a really long time to get to pause. Weird. One button fatalities added for all arcade titles. Another thing that should have just been in there at launch. General stability updates to music player. My man, how many problems do you have when the music player has stability issues? Whoa. I thought we figured this back in Windows 95.
Yeah.
Minor localization corrections and some fixes MK Trilogy training mode, not specified.
All these problems, I feel like they're not supposed to be problems in the first place. Like, if I go download a ROM and just play that, I won't experience problems. Why am I experiencing problems with a paid product?
Yeah, and especially a paid product that has more issues compared to, again, similar products that are lower cost. It's $40 for a bunch of those Capcom collections. Yep. And they're just better products, and they didn't have all these issues. And I'm not saying they were perfect when they were released. Almost everything has some small problems, but man, it is. I don't think this collection is with a dozen patches will be where those releases were on launch, because those collections were more ambitious. They were just giving more as a product, and even if they fulfilled everything they said, I would have. If this game launched with everything they said working the way they said, how they said, and with an online to standards, not even an impressive online, but just what's expected.
Yeah.
I still would have rated this worse than every other Capcom collection we've gotten recently, because they didn't fix stuff, and they didn't address anything in the games or add any real extras. So, and it costs more. So it's like, I get less, I pay more.
Yeah.
And I might have still bit the bullet at it and gone, well, it's a bunch of games. This is the price point they put it at. It's $50. Okay. I might have done that, but that's not the world we live in.
Like I said, I was gonna buy it one day when they fixed it up and it's on a sale price, but after listening to you, thanks for guiding me alright. I'm not gonna go and buy this because I'm gonna have self-respect and say no, this is not acceptable, and we're not gonna allow this to happen. To the best of our ability, we're not gonna allow this to go on. There's plenty of streamers and YouTubers out there who are buying it and just letting it go on. They're letting the injustice happen. They should turn around and say, no, we're not accepting this. They need to turn around and do this kind of thing, but we can do what we can as, people, and probably try and advise other people as well. There's a saying that goes something like, people remember how you made them feel. Not how, I don't remember the other part, but they remember how you made them feel. So, my experience with the Legacy Collection so far has been, this is shit. This is embarrassing. This is depressing. That's what I'm going to remember from now on.
I think this, I found a review from Steam guy B. Dot.
Okay.
$50 to play 20-plus-year-old games with input delay in an online that hardly works. I don't get why it's so hard to get these collections right. Dead on arrival, just like Street Fighter 30th, sadly. He's referring to the Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Collection that came out that did have a lot of problems when it came out. Okay. That released in 2018. He is comparing this to a game that is 7 years old, almost a decade older. Mm-hmm. He's comparing to, and I would say the comparison is pretty close. And that is crazy to think about. Yeah,
and Street Fighter, they've shown that they love their community by releasing the good things. So one little hiccup is okay, we can forgive that. But Mortal Kombat's been consistently failing us again and again and again. And with this, like, you can't, just like you said with the analogy of somebody running a soccer field and tripping over and deflating the ball, like, you can't screw this up. And somehow they screwed this up. Like, it's mind-boggling. And they used AI as well to help them out. We didn't even talk about the digital art book, so I wasn't able to research much about that. I didn't have time. Is there something that you know about the digital art book which was wrong?
Oh, I was hoping we'd get to this because this is a fun discussion point. So they have the digital art book, and it's quote unquote like remastered for inclusion on this. And I will tell people now, go to MK Museum, the website, because like that website's really good. Actually, I'll get the exact website for you. And I'll explain why. Right. It's because this collection of art has been butchered in a lot of places because they used the worst AI upscaling I've ever seen. It's not even like smoothing. We're talking Gen 1 AI stuff with like blobs for eyeballs and masks melding into people's faces. It's an absolute joke that they thought this was acceptable to release. Again, like everything else we've said about this collection, the fact that they thought this was okay to release and would be good to put in front of people, I don't get how. It looks so bad. Just get the art that was already in the game and blow it up. If it looks pixely, no one cares. That's how we remember it. And it's Mortal Kombat Warehouse. If you want to see the original stuff from the games, just go to Mortal Kombat Warehouse. Yeah. The website's awesome. It's got everything. It's got everything broken down for images. The art book's a joke.
That's shocking, that is, because imagine paying the price of the collector's edition to have all this stuff on the side, and this is how you get treated. A shitty art book with some shitty upscaling in it. Like, that's just like they came to your house and you gave them money and they just spit in your face. They puke in your face.
It's another one of those things like, I don't get how this was approved. I don't get why people even thought it was a good idea. Like, why would they think... How would they believe not just releasing the original art wouldn't be better? Just do that. Yeah. You are doing extra work to look worse.
It's like, look, I can only imagine that they upscaled it like this. They saw the final product and they tried to like not bring it to the forefront of their minds. They're just like, oh, you know what, let's just get it out. Don't worry about it. No one's even going to look at this art book.
It's funny because if you follow a lot of MK stuff, there was a MK book, like a museum treasure trove. I think it was actually called the Mortal Kombat Crypt Book.
Okay.
That was going to be a giant collection of information. You might have seen like Street Fighter released a couple of these books on their anniversaries or just when they have big projects. They'll release books that just have a bunch of information about the games from their past with like a bunch of artwork all collected, and they're really, really cool. I have a bunch of them. I have a bunch of the Japanese only ones too, even though I don't speak Japanese, because I just wanted the art. Yeah. There's concept art and behind the scenes stuff. I love that stuff. They were putting together a book for that, and then Warner Brothers said, yeah, no.
Wow.
And instead we get this.
Wow. You know what? It feels like to me that Mortal Kombat is only alive in the hands of fans. And if it was not for the fans, it would be dead, long dead. The fans are actually keeping it alive by doing stuff like making Fightcade and making Mugen games and streaming it online. It's the fans that are keeping this alive. The actual companies which are responsible for making these games, they're just spitting in our faces. It's a miracle how it survived.
Miracle. I want to ask people to really search your soul and look at the games that have come out. Like, look at Street Fighter 6 and look at Tekken 8 and look at Strive. If those games came out and they were just new games, like if Street Fighter 6 came out and it was Road Battler 1, everyone would still say, man, this game looks good, there's cool characters in this game, it plays well, its online is good, its story mode is great. Damn, this game came out of nowhere and these guys knocked it out of the park. Tekken 8, you'd get a similar takeaway, and Strive, people would talk about how gorgeous the game is. It would be, obviously Strive's been big. I know OG Guilty Gear fans have a problem with it being dumbed down, and I understand that and I agree. But as a product, if it came out new, it would be eye-catching, people would like it. Can we really say that for the latest stuff from Mortal Kombat? If Mortal Kombat 1 didn't have the Mortal Kombat name on it, I want people listening to this to really search your soul. Would you have had any interest in the game at all? I wouldn't.
I can't speak.
And I can't say that.
Yeah, exactly the same for me. This Mortal Kombat 1 is surviving because of the name Mortal Kombat. If it didn't have the name Mortal Kombat, it would have like a small fan base of whoever the NRS people are, and they would be the ones playing it. We wouldn't even look at it.
And I think that goes to your point where the fans are keeping it alive, and I really agree. I think it's kind of even on life support, where they are going through the motions with old school fans and keeping it alive with that. And I would almost compare it to like Star Wars, where you have a very large fan base of fans that really, really liked it.
Yeah.
But at some point, if you keep releasing garbage, you will burn through all of that goodwill, and you have not made enough new fans to replace them with people that actually give a damn about your product.
Yes. And that thing that Ed Boon said, where he feels like Mortal Kombat has become a household franchise, a forever franchise, where it's just going to keep going and going and going. It's going to keep going because of old Mortal Kombat, not because of the slap that NRS released. If it was just by the slap that NRS released, there would not even be Mortal Kombat today.
I mean, with all due respect to Ed Boon, man, dude, you need to open your eyes and look around at the world and what's become of some of these brands that you think are forever evergreen brands that will never go out of style. How's Disney doing right now? How's the MCU doing right now? Exactly. How is Star Wars, like I mentioned before, how are they doing right now?
Exactly.
These things are not doing great, and people thought they were bulletproof. And if you think Mortal Kombat's bigger than those things I just mentioned, I got other news for you, Ed. That's not the case.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And look, the proof is there. The WB is trying to get rid of it.
Yeah. Like, Warner Brothers, who owns DC Comics and Mortal Kombat and a billion other franchises, they couldn't make enough money with these things. How would you ever think Mortal Kombat's invincible? Nothing is too big to fail except, I don't know, banks and the mob. And guess what? There's a bunch of overlap there between those two things. But Mortal Kombat, dude, there were some people when Mortal Kombat 9 came out that didn't know there had been a Mortal Kombat since 3. And you think Mortal Kombat's invincible, Ed? Exactly. Wake up, man.
Exactly. Look, when our generation reaches old age and dies out, and then the next generation who we're trying to show them Mortal Kombat games, they're not going to carry Mortal Kombat to the next generation. They're looking at their own generation of things. Mortal Kombat's going to be dead when we're dead. When our generation is dead, Mortal Kombat's dead.
And that's the argument I always make with this stuff. You cannot keep trading on nostalgia, because nostalgia is for people that are getting older instead of getting people that are younger. And I am the first person to say, I'm older. I grew up with this stuff, but all this stuff I love, Dragon Ball, fighting games like Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat, Star Wars, comic books, do not make them for me. I liked what they were when I was a little kid, and if I still love them, I will still love them like that. I can go back and read those comics and play those games when they were like that.
Yep.
You do not need to pander to me. Get the new players. Go after them. That doesn't mean you need to reinvent the wheel. It doesn't mean you need to flip over the entire franchise and do it all new. But it does mean you can't count on only banking on the older fans, because if we don't start to hate what you're making and leave anyways, we're gonna die eventually.
Yeah, and when we're dead, who's gonna pay for your products? My kids are only gonna be interested in Mortal Kombat for as long as I'm interested in it. They're only gonna play Mortal Kombat when I'm playing Mortal Kombat, when I'm showing it to them. Otherwise, they don't care. They're not gonna be on the internet searching, what's the next Mortal Kombat game to come out? That's me. Even though I've been disappointed all this time, I'm still looking, okay, what's the next Mortal Kombat? I'm excited to see what's the next thing. Even though I know it's gonna be a flop or a slop, I still want to search what's the next thing.
And it's funny because I can pass on certain things to people and show them the OG, show them the new school, and they transition right between them, and they love both. Like, I've shown people OG Dragon Ball, and I've shown them Dragon Ball Broly, one of the newest movies, and Dragon Ball Superhero. I've shown them Street Fighter 2, and I've shown them Street Fighter 6. I've shown them Fatal Fury 1, and I've shown them City of the Wolves. And they love both of them and everything in between and all the stuff that's new, because they're good products that continue to be good products and still are good today. They might not be perfect in every case. Maybe we have some problems with some of them. You know, some people have issues with Super, some people love Super, some people are a little in the middle, but it feels like Dragon Ball at the very least, and you can tell people that are working on it are trying, and they're not just releasing whatever. They're not just trying to make a quick buck.
Yeah. This might be a bit of a separate topic, but I think it's relevant to our discussion right now. I haven't seen the Avengers before. I've never watched any of the Avengers movies. So my cousin, she wanted to spend the weekends with us. So she suggested, hey, let's make weekends a movie night where we come and we just watch some movies. So we get together and watch movies. And the movies that were suggested was, we started off with Lord of the Rings, we finished that. And then the next set were the Avengers. And I said, okay, I've never seen Avengers before, so let's give it a go. And when I watched Avengers, you know what I was saying to my cousin? What? This is Mortal Kombat. This is Mortal Kombat 1. Everything in Mortal Kombat 1 is here. Like, you had those Wakanda people. That's Tanya's group of people.
The Umgadi.
The Umgadi, that's right. They are Wakanda people, there's no doubt about that. People have been telling me this is Wakanda people, but I've never seen Avengers before, so I couldn't like relate them together. But now I see it. And there's all kinds of other things as well. Tony Stark is like Johnny Cage, where Johnny Cage is really rich and he has all this technology and stuff. And he's trying to be funny like Tony Stark. What else do we have?
I mean, you've got even his armor is like the new cyborg Lin Kuei's, who aren't cyborgs anymore. They wear Iron Man armor.
Yeah, that is a big point. With Cyrax running around in the forest and she's looking in her helmet screen just like Tony Stark. It's ridiculous. They've turned Mortal Kombat into the Avengers, and they think it's gonna sell to Mortal Kombat fans. Like, make Mortal Kombat so we can be into Mortal Kombat. Why are you turning it into the Avengers? Do they look at the Avengers and think, oh, this is what everybody likes, so we need to copy them? I don't know.
It may be that simple, or it may be just like a lack of imagination, because like, you know, obviously Mortal Kombat had its inspirations. You know, it has a lot to do with like early kung fu movies. Yeah. There's huge inspiration from Big Trouble in Little China. Have you ever seen the movie Napper?
I've seen like bits of it, and I've heard stuff about it as well.
Okay, I highly recommend it. Love it. You know, and obviously there's Game of Death with Bruce Lee. Yeah. There's a lot of inspiration, which yeah, it is Game of Death. I'm pretty sure I might be mixing up the titles. I'm pretty sure it's Game of Death as the tournament style.
Oh, no, that's Enter the Dragon.
Enter the Dragon, right, yeah. Yep. As soon as the tournament was involved, my brain wanted to go to Game of Death because the tournament's like a game.
Yeah.
I've seen all the Bruce Lee movies. People don't at me. I can already imagine the comments like fake fan. That's fine because Bruce Lee was a fake martial artist. Oh, fake fighter. Come at me in the comments. Fight me. But you had all those inspirations that you could see, but they synthesized them into something new. And a lot of those things were kind of, I won't say they were like cult classics. Do you know what I mean? They weren't things that were huge in the mainstream.
Yeah.
So when you take inspiration from Big Trouble in Little China, or you take inspiration from a Jean-Claude Van Damme movie like Bloodsport,
Yeah.
these aren't movies and series and stuff that are defining the box office for a generation like Marvel is with the cinematic universe that they have. Mm-hmm. Anyone looks at the new stuff in Mortal Kombat, they go, well, that's just this. And it's so obvious and so in their face, and it's something so clear in their mind, it immediately makes that connection, and then they go, well, you're just ripping that off. So it doesn't feel like it's an homage, and it doesn't feel like it's made with love. It feels like what you said, where it's, well, this is popular, so I'll just do this. It feels really disingenuous.
Exactly. It's not a respectable inspiration where you can feel that, oh, Mortal Kombat was inspired by this. Rather, it's a complete ripoff. You look at Cyrax with a helmet and you just say, oh, look, they copied Marvel.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And then they get into all the multiverse stuff, which is exactly what Marvel's doing now, and you go, oh, man.
The timelines. We must defeat the timelines.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
And
that's where we get... You know that Doctor Doom guy, when he opens his portals, it's just like when Shang Tsung opens portals. The same thing.
Yep.
Yeah, man.
And that is where we're at now. You know, to bring this back to the Mortal Kombat collection, it is just like Mortal Kombat 1 story elements and design stuff is a poor imitation of a far superior product with the MCU, which has also gone off the rails and down the drain, mind you. But, you know, during its heyday, it was good. This Mortal Kombat collection is a bad imitation of the good Capcom collections we've got.
What a shame. What a shame.
It's unfortunate because, as we said at the beginning of this was the easiest home run for people like us to not only buy but to massively recommend. Easy. And now we can't even give a you might like it. We've both come to the conclusion, don't buy it. That sucks.
We all have multiple copies of the same Mortal Kombat games in our houses, and we was just about to add another one in. I was about to add it twice. That's how dumb we are. We're just giving away money just like this. Man, if I was a businessman,
it's a real shame.
I wish I was a businessman. Maybe I should start a business. Maybe I can show people respect and, maybe get their money.
This is where I drop the hammer and turn this entire discussion around, because I'm putting Napper on blast right now. And this is going to bring down Napper's channel when he uploads this. Why he would upload it, even though it destroys his channel, I don't know, but he's going to.
Okay.
Napper has a controlling stake in Warner Brothers, and really, this is his fault for not exercising his rights as a shareholder. He let all this happen. Tell the people how much you have controlling in Warner Brothers. I'm outing you right now, Napper. Admit it.
I forgot about this. Okay, guys. I've bought a share in Warner Brothers Discovery. And that means, I think it means I own a piece of Mortal Kombat. So a tiny piece of Mortal Kombat belongs to me. And I put £5 in there, £5 in to buy a piece of Warner Brothers Discovery. And I've actually made some money back on it. It's made me 14 pence. So...
Well, I just checked the portfolios for Warner Brothers. Apparently with that... single stock, you now own all of Sub-Zero in the Game Boy version of Mortal Kombat 2. You own Sub-Zero in that. Congratulations, I guess.
Thank you. If anybody has any problems with Game Boy Sub-Zero in Mortal Kombat 2 on Game Boy, you can bring your concerns to me, and I will threaten Warner Brothers that I'll pull all my funding if they don't get their act together. And that's a real threat, that's an actual threat. I will pull all of my £5 out of their company, and then whatever happens to them, that's their fault. I tried, I invested, but it's up to them.
And they're in the middle of a sale right now. They're being sold right now, so they can't afford to lose liquidity like that. They need that money right now. So Napper, being the stand-up guy I know Napper is, he just said, for all those people out there just grinding away to try to be the best Mortal Kombat 2 on Game Boy Sub-Zero, all you guys out there, the hundreds or possibly thousands of pro Mortal Kombat players, if you run into problems with that character, come see Napper. He'll get it straightened out. That's his promise. He's like the Colonel for KFC.
Exactly, 100%. Yesterday in Fate's live stream, I refunded him £5 of the game. So, he bought my game, MK Legacy Collection, and I felt bad because it's a shit product. So I refunded him £5 in yesterday's stream. So.
I believe that was when someone tried to sweep him and he did a slide with Mortal Kombat 2 on Game Boy Sub-Zero and it got blocked. It failed to punish. And Napper was like, here's your $5, man. I'm sorry. That slide should have hit. I'm sorry. Here's your money. That's how true to form Napper is on making good on his Sub-Zero.
Yeah, so I've already spent all the refund money back to refund people, so I don't really have any more refund money to give away. But if you have any concerns, just come to me, and I will write a strongly worded letter to WB, threatening them that I'm gonna pull all my funding if they don't get their act together. Like we can take.
And remember, if you need to shout out Napper on that, it's let him know if the Lin don't quay, Napper pays.
I thought you was gonna say Napper is gay. If the Lin don't quay, Napper is gay.
Hashtag it.
We should hashtag that other thing actually. What was that saying about reject? We reject.
Without respect, we reject. The famous quote from Doomcock.
Yeah. So that should be hashtagged. Without respect, we reject.
Yep, I like that one because it is true. At some point, you need to cut them off and just say no more. And I'm at that point.
Yep, and I'm at that point with you as well. And I hope some other people are joining us too. I hope some people watch this and they think, you know what, we have too much self-respect. We own Mortal Kombat media already. We don't need this legacy crap.
I would love to see in comments people commenting. If you didn't get it, comment that you didn't get it. If you refunded it, let us know you refunded it. Or if you heard us talk about it and it made you decide not to buy it and never to buy it, please let us know because I think that's actually really important.
Yeah, let us know. It'll be interesting to see, how we gel together as a community and how powerful this community is. Like, what actions can we take to make these corporations and these companies know that, hey, you're going to show us respect or you can fuck off?
And I think the important thing to remind people with this stuff is this is not a massive release. We've already, we looked at the numbers tonight. The top number was 1,000 and the current number is 100. Even one of you guys saying no deal, at best for their player base on Steam, that's 0.1%. That's really big for their active player base. It's 1% of their whole player base saying no. That's massive, guys.
Yeah. It actually does hit them in the pockets, and it might make them think twice about releasing a shitty collection again.
Yeah, never feel powerless with this stuff. I know it's easy to say, well, whether or not I buy it doesn't matter, but it really does. Because if everyone has the attitude that it matters, it will matter. So just embrace that attitude.
Exactly. Look, we need to have self-respect. And if we don't have self-respect, they're not going to respect us. So we need to respect ourselves first and not buy this shit. Tell them this is shit. We don't accept this. Make it again under a different name. And don't use any AI. Use people who have Mortal Kombat in their hearts and they wanna serve the Mortal Kombat community. Otherwise, fuck you, fuck off, and suck on something.
Suck on Mortal Kombat 2 Sub-Zero on the Game Boy.
Yeah, suck on that. Well, I don't know if we have any more to say. I think I'm done. I've got my anger out for now.
I think that sums it up. Next time, did you want to do the Dragon Ball challenge I laid out for you? We can talk about something nice and positive and fun.
What was that again? I don't remember.
The Dragon Ball challenge is I'm going to come with a bunch of pictures from Dragon Ball, and they might either be fan creations or they might be from official Dragon Ball products. And I'm going to go real obscure and real weird, and we're going to see if you can guess if it's fan or real.
Okay, yeah, that sounds interesting. We could probably try that next Wednesday.
All right, I think that'll be a lot of fun because I think there's going to be some stuff out there that is going to really surprise you that it exists.
Amazing. Hey, thanks for your time, Yagami. This kind of video is not possible without you giving your input. Like, I look up to you as the knowledgeable person in Mortal Kombat. Wherever I slip and fail, you manage to like cover me up there. So I really appreciate you being here and joining in with the conversation.
Yeah, heck yeah, man. It's always really fun.
Yeah. And if you ever make a channel, just let me know and I'll blast it out there to people and get you started.
Yeah, I appreciate that because with the new house and everything, I think I'm gonna have some time for some projects like that.
Awesome, yeah, and congratulations again on your new house, and hope it all goes well for you.
Thank you.
All right, see ya, everybody. If you enjoyed it, hit the dislike because the YouTube algorithm recognizes that as engagement. So, and if you want to join Discord, I have a Discord link below. All right, see you later. Bye.
Later.
Okay.